Well, hello everybody again, and welcome to another one of ABHI's series of In Conversations, where we talk to key figures from the world of health tech. Today, we're going to be exploring the NHS Innovation Service, and as you can see, that I've got two guests with me today. Just a moment, we're going to be hearing from Matt Newman, Deputy Director of the Accelerated Access Collaborative from NHS England, and also Chris Miles from ABHI member APOS, who've been through the Innovation Service and will be sharing their experiences with you to try and bring the program to life. So Matt, if we may, I'll turn it over to you. Just really tell us what the Innovation Service is all about, where it came from, what it's intended to do, and how it fits in with some of the other architecture and infrastructure that's around.
Sure. Thanks, Richard. And first of all, thanks for having us or having me today. It's great to be speaking to you. So we were really, really pleased to launch to the public the Innovation Service 2 years ago. Pretty much exactly 2 years ago, went into public beta. And since then, we've supported over 700 innovators. So it's been, we've had a really good uptake. And it was all around responding to the right back to the accelerated access review that was carried out in 2015, 2016, which was finding it was taking about 10 years from an idea to a product being sold into the NHS. And we're all about shortening that time. We're all about helping innovators navigate quite a complex system with lots of different players and realising the benefits for the NHS, the patients and staff to get access to the best product sooner. So we've got quite a broad remit. We do that through providing some advice on an online portal, which is free to access. And we also provide tailored end-to-end support. So innovators or established firms or patients or anyone really can come to us at any point in their journey, and we should be able to provide curated support for wherever you are. And we're all about having that record of the innovation in a single place, so it's much easier and there's a lot less repeating yourselves to different organisations. So we were a previous Secretary of State's ministerial pledge, and as I say, we delivered that last year and have had really good uptake.
Great. I'm sure you're going to have to explain the Innovation Service to our new set of ministers, but it is. I've stopped calling it a complex landscape, actually, I think, and stopped sort of bleating about it and just said it's embracing. It's a diverse landscape and we should embrace it. And certainly, initiatives such as this are vitally important to companies in helping them navigate, as you said, a landscape and that clear signposting. Chris, maybe come to you. Maybe just say a word or two about APOS and the technology, and then just walk us through your experiences as being a user of the service.
Yeah, of course. Again, thank you for inviting me to come to talk today. So I guess introduction to what APOS is. It's a medical device in the form of a shoe that aims to treat patients with severe knee arthritis. So it has two attachable pods, which we can change the forces of a knee joint and retrain patients' muscles to get them long-term outcomes. And so I guess our process through the Innovation Service culminated in a NICE evaluation program and a recommendation from NICE for knee arthritis, and more recently this year we've been picked up by the MedTech funding mandate policy, which is supporting us for the next few years to spread the adoption of the technology for patients across the NHS. And I guess so from our experience of the Innovation Service, it started back in May 2021. I think the precursor program was Health Tech Connect at the time, and on recommendation from ABHI, actually, we submitted the innovation on the online portal for evaluation. And now I've got to say, actually, even just going through the submission process was really valuable. The questions kind of forced us to look at our innovation, make us be super clear and concise about how we were, giving the messages, and made us support everything with evidence where possible. So again, it's really kind of good process to go through in its entity. We deliberately took the approach of being as straightforward as possible through the eyes of the reviewer. We understand there's a lot of innovation going into the NHS at the moment, and everyone's fighting for that attention to to get their innovation in and utilize. So we stripped it right back to keep it, to the bare essentials, and be tested on the merits of the innovation. And then I think after we submitted in May 21, within a couple of months we started getting responses from various partners like NICE, NHS Supply Chain, and all the health innovation networks. And ever since then, it's just been an ongoing engagement with the different partners to get where we are today. And I've got to give credit, the actual initial submission, having that clear kind of one place to put all of your information really helped us set up for productive conversations with partners going forward.
Right, that's great, Chris. Chris, could you tell us a little bit more about your initial interaction with the service? How straightforward did you find it? And then when things have come back to you, how much of the running have you had to make yourselves? And any examples of specific support you've had from the programme?
Yeah, so as I said, the initial interaction using the online portal is super simple, and it really makes you just answer the questions in the best way you can, and I think it pulls out of you what you need to get into the portal. I think off the back of that, some of the support that we've got, so it's led to some invaluable things from our perspective. So firstly, engaging with the health innovation networks really let us test and refine our value proposition. So using language that the system got, and to work with them and how we utilised our real world outcomes better was something that the health innovation networks kind of advised us. Secondly, it opened doors to connect with NHS Supply Chain and get us available on an NHS Supply Chain catalogue, which for us, it provided us with a procurement mechanism, which was huge importance for scaling our solution. I think most importantly, it facilitated that initial engagement with NICE and the MedTech evaluation program. We we subsequently got a positive recommendation from them, but without those, we're, to put it bluntly, we're quite a small organisation. We don't have the resources and the feet on the ground to go and speak to all the different parts of the system. We are quite complex in our product, in that we sit across various places in the system, whether that be acute or community. MSK care is quite complex in itself, so having those signposting at that initial stage really helped us make use of our resources that we had available to us and guide us in the right direction.
Chris, that's brilliant. It's really helpful, thank you. And it helps, of course, having really cool technology as well. Matt, that must be really actually gratifying to hear for you to hear an example of how, when we get everything lined up and get together, it works, how good it is. Maybe just respond to what Chris has said from the other side of the sort of, from inside the sausage machine, if you like, and how you would go about when you had the initial response from APOS or any other company. How would you go about doing that matchmaking?
Yeah, massively gratifying to hear, and it's good. We love these stories, and actually just such a great news story of APOS going right through to, as we call it, MTFM, because we love an acronym. So a great news story, and we're delighted to be supporting the product because it's a great product. So what happened is, so Chris touched on the kind of initial form, the innovation record, and we've spent quite a bit of time doing both. We've done a lot of user research around that and designing that well. So it's great to hear that that's pulling out the information and kind of forcing the right conversations internally, so that every innovation and every innovator can demonstrate the value that they bring. That's entirely the intention. That's also it. The intention is that we can also use that internally within NHSE in the horizon scanning function to understand what products are out there. And we're not doing that at the moment, but we'd love to get there. Because that's it's a great way to get in front of us as NHSE. So once that form's completed, that then goes into our needs assessment service. The needs assessment service is run by a collaboration of the health innovation networks, and they speak to everyone that submits an innovation record within a 10-day period. That's the service level agreement we've got with them, and they generally hit that. unless they can't get through to people. So they speak to everyone, and the point of that conversation is to just ensure that they fully understood what's on the innovation record and gather any more information. And from there, they'll make onward referrals into any one of the 26 organisations, which is the 15 health innovation networks around England. We've got links into Health Technology Wales and Life Sciences Hub Wales. We've got links into the Scottish Health Technology Group. And so we cover the whole of Great Britain at the moment. We are going to go out at some point to the whole of the United Kingdom. We're just working on the agreements with Northern Ireland. But as Chris touched on, it's Health Innovation Networks, it's MHRA if you need that kind of support, NIHR for the very early stage research support, through to supply chain about getting into procurement. So the work that you do or innovators do with those support organisations should be captured through that innovation record. So what that means is you won't get into these loops and circles that we sometimes get reported to us, where one organisation is reporting you to another that then refers you back. So we're trying to avoid that and have all the information transparent so that the advice is all iterative and additive rather than you having to re-explain everything. And that goes on. Once you've got a product that has the right regulatory approvals and the right evidence and is to market, that's probably where our support finishes. I always get told off for saying what we don't do, but we're not a sales function. We are all about bringing innovations. We're quite agnostic about your innovation or product. We don't endorse, we don't support. We bring everything to the market in as agnostic way as possible. And then obviously you'll have to, if you've made it onto things like supply chain, you'll be on a procurement framework. But the kind of then the sales piece and the going out to the market piece is where our support would finish. So that's the kind of bookends of support. We'll take very early glimmers and ideas right through to kind of bringing it to market is our role as we see it.
That's great, man. And just to, and you touched on this, you may not be able to say too much about it because we're future gazing, but we're recording this back end of July 24, where new ministers are still finding their way. They'll all have great ideas about what we should do and find all the technologies that we've lost down the back of the sofa. There's the Innovation Ecosystem Programme, which we'll expect to hear from shortly. There's also all the resource challenges that people are aware of, and no one's been hit any harder than NHS England as well. So how do you see the programme in bearing it? So there's a lot going on, there's a lot of moving parts, there always has been, there always will be, they'll be subject to various reviews, and there's a whole bunch of stuff coming through, new work programmes. So how do you see this service evolving in the immediate term?
Well, you're right. It's a busy time for all of us, and it's a busy time for everyone, right? It's not unique to NHS England or DH, it's across the ecosystem. But I think the initial signs are good, and that there's a commitment to supporting the life sciences and medtech industries. I think the HSE have been very open with that, and that's the part of the contribution to the government's agenda on growth. So we're seeing that's positive. We are, you touched on a few different things there. So nice, you're right, have a joint consultation with NHS England at the moment around a rules-based pathway, which again is positive. And the NHS Innovation Services is core as part of that, part of that consultation as well, and part of the future plans. So narrowly, I can say I hope we're well positioned, and we've got a credible product, and people are, seeing the positive results. So there's days like today where I get to come on things like this and meet, see Chris and talk about APOS, where we've got examples of where things have tangibly happened, and that's really important. It would be unhelpful for us to have a theoretically useful product, and so I think we're getting more examples of that. We continue to sell ourselves internally and externally to make sure that we can continue to provide the service that hopefully your members and innovators will find useful. I think stepping back, the broader picture is that the service is under a massive amount of pressure. Staff are working really hard. Everyone's trying to deliver best care possible. And we know if we keep doing the same as what we've always done, we're kind of going to get the same that we always got. And we know that people are waiting too long for scans, that waiting lists aren't coming down as much as we'd like. So it's going to take new models of care. It's going to take innovations. And we see the innovation service as a core part of that broader landscape of bringing things through that are going to address the major problems and deliver on that growth agenda. So I feel like we're a useful piece of the infrastructure rather than an additional piece that creates, doesn't serve a distinct purpose. We're a coordinating thing. And finally, you mentioned the innovation ecosystem program. You're right. We'll hear from that a bit later in the year with the recommendations. And again, I suspect, I would be surprised not to see something on better integration and coordination in there, which means that hopefully it's a service that is leading the way on that.
Matt, that's great. Thank you. And thank you on behalf of all of us in the industry for your energy and your efforts in doing that. We'll get to this again, as you say, after the innovation ecosystem program, when we have a bit more clarity on the future of the health innovation networks. Chris, thanks so much for sharing your story with us and spending some time with us today. And good luck with the product. It sounds like things are moving in a very, very positive direction for you. So what we will do, Matt, we'll stick a link when this goes out to people, so they can contact the service, and any other questions, then please do come back to us, and we'll try and point you in the right direction. But with that, thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Meg.